welcome to another episode of the What If Tomorrow podcast. I'm Philip.
And I'm Mark.
And tonight, man, we're just going to have a little bit of fun, talk about things that have happened over the last, 20 years, I think.
Yep.
We've already explored a lot of conspiracy theories that have come true. You know, Tuskegee comes to mind. What was it? Operation Northwoods or something like that.
Northwoods, yep.
Whole bunch of different, conspiracy theories we talked about. But tonight we're looking at some of the most recent ones, I should say. We're not going to hit them all, obviously. And it seems like here in the last few months, there's been several that are starting to come to light. That are being proven true.
Well, I mean, according to fact checkers, they're not proved true yet.
Right.
But they're looking more and more legit every day. Is like, well.
Yep. I'm glad you like it, Enzo. I kind of got sidetracked yesterday. I normally do in kind of an opening beat to where we're kind of a story or what have you. I kind of got sidetracked yesterday, so I didn't get it done. So we're just putting on the tail end of the intro on there. I thought it was kind of cool. I found that.
It's pretty cool.
But anyway, first things first, we're going to handle this side of it.
Hey, this is Mark with What If Tomorrow and What If Tomorrow on the Fringe. Be sure to check out our website, whatiftomorrowmedia.com, and look at our cool merch. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, posters, and more. Our affiliates are Duke Cannon, EMP Shield, My Patriot Supply, and Conflicted the Game. Or check out buymeacoffee.com/whatiftomorrow and buy us a coffee. And as always, be sure to like, comment, and share on both Facebook and YouTube. It helps get our content out to others and help our channel grow. Now on with the show.
All right. Well, I mean, conspiracy theories are always fun. There's been some ridiculous ones out there, but some of these ones, people thought were ridiculous until we found out they were true.
Right. And honestly, thinking about it, here, I don't know, in the last few years, I haven't heard people calling people conspiracy theorists as much.
No, because, well, even they're finding stuff out all the time. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what we've been saying. And they very quietly sweep it under the rug and move on.
Yep. In all honesty, I'm going to just in full transparency, with them starting to release these UFO files and all that stuff. Personally, I think it's a distraction. Trying to distract from this whole Epstein file thing. Hello, Julie. It's a distraction. Just I think for that is to turn the eyes away from that. And again, with the whole Epstein file thing, and this is going to happen later on. I mean, this one thing we are going to touch on tonight. And I'll probably repeat myself, but I don't think anything's going to come out of it.
I doubt it.
We did see Prince Andrew be arrested. I honestly, as vile and disgusting as some of the stuff I've seen coming out, I mean, I personally have not looked at any of it. Just what I've seen is scrolling through Facebook, and I know you can't believe anything there. But what I've seen, I'm like, it's plausible. Being realistic, thinking it through things, and I don't care what side you are, left, right, middle, whatever. If you're involved in this, personally, I think you need to be drug out in the street and shot. Or hung up and left to hang like in the medieval times.
Definitely need to be arrested. I mean, yeah. And my deal is either shit or get off the pot.
Right. Anyway, we're gonna run down a list. I think we have 7 theories that are being proven true. First one starting in 2013, and I think we have talked about him before, just kind of touched on it a long time ago.
I think we did.
You're right, Enzo. We need new ones. Is the NSA mass surveillance, and that came out with Edward Snowden, and I think everybody's pretty well familiar with him and what happened. But real quick, the NSA had direct access to systems of Google, Facebook, Apple, and other U.S. internet giants. And in a quote, Snowden, he said, "I, sitting at my desk, certainly had the authority to wiretap anyone from you or your accountant to a federal judge or even the president." I think I remember watching him. I think it was on Joe Rogan, and I was blown away with the stuff he was throwing out there. But there was Prism. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Yeah, the top secret Prism program claims. This is on The Guardian. This was, where's the date at? I'm trying to find the date. Yeah, June 2013. I mean, I don't have to go into all that. And then I got to sign in and all this stuff. There we go. With Prism, and I've got the slideshow here I'll put up on the screen. Let me remember how to do this here, Mark. I was just doing it before the show. Oh, wrong button.
You're forgetting how it all works. And they've made so many changes, it's confusing.
They have, yeah. But this is just a slideshow, with Prism, and it's much of the world's communications flow through the U.S. A target's phone call, email, or chat will take the cheapest path, not the physical, most direct path. You can't always predict the path. Your target's communications could easily be flowing into and through the U.S. This is FAA 702 operations, 2 types of collections. And it says you should do both. Upstream collection of communications on fiber cables and infrastructure as data flows past. And then Prism is collection directly from servers of these U.S. service providers: Microsoft, Yahoo, Google, Facebook, Paltalk, AOL, Skype, YouTube, Apple. So anything anybody uses. I know, everybody's got a Facebook account.
Everybody's got a Google address.
Right. I'm just skimming through this. Current providers, as I read, I don't even think AOL's still around, is it?
I don't think it is it?
What you'll receive in collection, surveillance, and stored comms. It varies by provider. In general, email, chat, video, voice, videos, photos, stored data, VoIP, file transfers, video conferencing, notifications of target activity, logins, etc., online social networking details, and special requests.
Nope, AOL's still around.
Is it?
Yep.
That's surprising. I don't hear anybody ever talk about it.
Yep.
Prism. This was at in 2013. The Prism program cost was $20 million per year. Microsoft got involved on 9/11 in 2007. Yahoo 2008, Google 2009, Facebook 2009, Paltalk 2009, YouTube 2010, Skype 2011, AOL 2011, and Apple added in October 2012. Let's see. Like I said, I'm just scanning through this slideshow. There's a bunch of slides, and I'm not going to hit every one of them. I'm just trying to look at relevant things here. Let's see. Yeah, there's like 11 pages of slides with all these on here. So there's a ton. If you want, you can look up Prism Reveal or the Guardian Original Prism Reveal. Then there's Prism Slides. It's interactive. TheGuardian.com. You can look it up if you want to look through them, but basically it's what we're looking at is we know they're true.
Yeah. That
You know,
that
that's the
happened.
biggest thing.
We know that happened,
Yeah,
and it's
we
probably
don't
still
doubt.
happening.
Oh, I'm sure. I wouldn't doubt it. And now that AI is spooling up, um, you know, and I know, you know, Mark and I are beating this horse to death on AI, especially me. Um, and I guess my line of thought, maybe this is another conspiracy theory, is okay. The AI we use, you know, Grok, Gemini, Chat GPT, or I don't remember the other ones. I mean, then you have what? Shoot, I don't remember.
There's thousands of them.
There's a bunch. Um, and admittedly, I use it. I mean, my outline is put up here by Grok. I tell him, or tell it, I shouldn't say him, I tell it what we want to talk about. It helps me do the research, helps me lay it out in a format, in an outline. It's extremely handy, and it actually helps do some research, you know, but
Yeah.
uh,
Although you got to watch it. Sometimes they get a little
it does. It
wonky
absolutely
with it.
does.
You got to watch it.
But I guess my thought, maybe theory, I don't know, is if this is what, I mean, it's pulling all of our data. We know this through Google, I'm sure X, and we'll get into that later with the Twitter files and all that stuff. Um, is there another AI the U.S. government is using to monitor, to surveil all of us?
Wouldn't surprise me in the
Yep.
slightest.
That's kind of my thought process.
Well, everybody on here knows if
Yep.
you say something, your phone will pick it up and you'll have ads for it as soon as you bring Facebook up.
Yeah. Yep. Julie, absolutely. It will make up research. I've seen it myself. So, I mean, you still have to do your due diligence and verify. You know, I've got links pulled up from here. I mean, I had it pull up links and all that. So it saved me a ton of time in searching. Went through, kind of looked through links for different theories that are wrong or have come true. So I did do some looking there. But I mean, this is just a start, and everybody knew when or not Epstein, sorry, when Snowden, you know, blew the whistle. Everybody like me, and yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that a bit. Nobody was surprised by it, and that's what gets me.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody was shocked.
No, they're like, oh yeah, sure, I don't doubt it a bit. We know.
And of course, he had to flee the country.
Right.
I honestly believed if they would have got him before he left the country, he would have been silenced
Yeah, I
permanently.
don't doubt that a bit.
He would have been offed, and we would have never heard anything from it.
Right. You know, then
Oh,
you
he's
have
just disappeared.
you have about the same time Julian Assange with WikiLeaks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ian. Yeah, so I mean that's another one was Julian Assange. It's not even on here, but you know he let out so much. I mean he's still blocked. I was actually looking him up the other day on X. He's still blocked. I think the last post was around 2013 sometime. But you know what can we do? I don't know that we can really do anything.
Probably not.
You know, in all honesty, I mean, I like to try to offer a solution, you know, with the show and ideas and preparedness and all that. I mean, this really isn't a preparedness show, but it's just showing you, hey, this stuff is real. But again, I don't know if there's anything that we can do about it.
No, we can't. They've covered their bases, and they can point. Well, we've got this legislation or this executive order that allows us to do this.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to know about it, but tough stuff.
Yeah, it is, and it's frustrating. I think because we know that there's really nothing we can do about it.
Yep.
Kind of like go back to AI. Kind of go back to AI. It's already out. There's nothing we can do about it, and that's why I say that we need to learn to use it and not let it use us because it will.
Oh,
It will.
absolutely.
Just like Julie was saying. I mean, it's just it will take you down rabbit holes, and it may be so far from where you intended to go that you have to rein it back in and say, nope, this is where I want to go with it. This is what I want to do. And it's crazy to see the tangents this stuff runs off of.
Well, we're used to tangents.
Absolutely, we are. That's part of it. But yeah, I mean, on that front with AI, I've seen. I think Elon Musk. Whether you put stock into what he says or not, I do. I seen him come out here the last few days on X talking about ChatGPT and Gemini. How they are leading people astray in certain research. I don't remember what the topics were that were read, and how Grok has a totally different viewpoint, and it's all programmed. We know that.
Yeah.
But he said it's too late. This is the gist of what he posted. It's too late to put guardrails up. That time's gone. He said, but we can make it honest. Does that? I don't know.
I don't.
Yep.
I'm not smart enough.
No, me either. So I will say, either way, actually try to find the information yourself and find out what these AIs are talking about.
Yeah. They're talking about you.
Yeah, for sure. You can look up anything and it'll pull it up within seconds.
Yeah.
But the mass surveillance, I'm sure, is still happening regardless of whether.
Oh, I'm absolutely positive.
Here we are 13 years later. And it's crazy to think about. It seems like it just wasn't that long ago. But 13 years ago is crazy to think about.
Yeah, there's kids out there who don't know any different.
Right. And Mark and I were kind of being nostalgic. But backstage, we're talking about things as a kid, cartoons and stuff we used to watch. I've started kind of collecting old G.I. Joe figures. I loved G.I. Joe when I was a kid, and I started kind of collecting them again, and just kind of being nostalgic and talking about different cartoons and shows and things we were kind of watching when we were younger. And kids nowadays, I've tried to get my kids to sit down and watch some of the old cartoons. I think we were talking about He-Man or something, weren't we?
Yeah.
When that came up, I was like, and my kids had no interest. I'm like, well, we didn't have the video games like they have today. We didn't have the internet like they have today to draw
the interactive technology.
Yeah. But it's amazing how far we've came just in the 13 years since Snowden.
Oh yeah.
And it is sad, Julie. I think as much as we try, to keep our children protected, there's so much access. It doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter how, but the access is there. I mean, I'm guilty of giving my kids access, but you can't shield it, because that's the world they're going to live in.
Yeah, they're going to have to learn to deal with it.
Right. And I guess the only thing we can really do is teach our kids to not put all their information out there. I mean, sure. I mean, you can look up anybody and find out who they're connected to or whatever. We've all seen it. But we have to try to protect our kids and keep the guardrails up and say, listen, you got to pay attention to this. Don't go on these types of websites. And I really think that's the solution, because we're not going to avoid it.
No.
But we need to protect our kids the best we can and watch what they're doing, not just give them free reign on whatever, YouTube. I mean, we watch a lot of YouTube here. And there's things that if we see, or, we monitor what the kids watch pretty close, and, because, I mean, granted, it's on my account. They already have my information. I mean, for crying out loud, we have a presence online. We stream online every week or every 2 weeks. We post and all that. I mean, we have that presence. My kids don't. They don't have a Facebook account. They don't have a Snap. Nothing like that. They don't have any kind of social media. And as far as I'm concerned, it can stay that way.
Oh, yeah.
It's just something to really think about and try to process with, especially your younger children, because like I said, there is no way they can avoid it. Because my kids have a presence because they do a lot of stuff at school online, whether it be their math classes and reading or whatever, because a lot of what they do is now on computers and tablets. So it's going to instill that judgment in them. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox for that. Moving on. Or Batterygate from Apple. That's another one that's came true. This isn't like governmental, whatever. This is a business. Let me see. Make sure I don't close out the wrong one. This comes from the theory that Apple was basically building in obsolescence. And it's still happening.
Yeah.
What are they going to do about it? What are you going to do about it again? Let's see.
Oh, yeah. They want you to buy that new phone.
Right. And I'm sure Samsung's doing it as well. I mean, and whoever else has got Motorola or whatever. Here we go. This is CNBC from December 28, 2017. Apple apologizes for iPhone slowdowns and offers $29 battery replacements. The battery is dying off. The phone is slowing down. They stopped supporting the phones. In 2017, the Apple statement, "We have never and would never do anything to intentionally shorten the life of any Apple product." And then last year, we introduced a new feature to smooth out instantaneous peaks on devices with older batteries. That's just the way society is now. We're such a consumer based. We consume. I mean, we don't produce a lot, but we consume everything. People got to have the newest, hottest phones, or what else? Computers. You can't keep up. We have said that for years now. You can't keep up with trying to keep a computer, up to date or whatever. You just can't. You go broke. And the same thing with phones. I mean, each company comes out with a new phone every year. I don't even know what iteration the Apple's on now. I mean, I've got a 15.
I don't know. I've got no clue.
What is it, 17? The iPhone 17 or something like that now. Yeah, and that is a loss, Ian. I totally agree with that statement. Ian said there was a report published recently that kids nowadays aren't having the same peer-related relationships as pre-internet kids has. That's absolutely
That's true. They're not getting out. They're not playing with their friends. They're not
right.
Learning by doing.
And most of the time when they're quote unquote hanging out with their friends, they're online playing games.
Yep. And going to sketchy
You
websites.
know, right, right, and that's sad. And I think I heard something today. Um, if I remember, let me try to think about where I was listening to. It was on the Blaze. Um, they were talking about kids, how kids are more depressed and more suicidal. Right, Julie? As we sit here online, right? um, but they were talking about how kids are more depressed and have a higher suicide rate, and they're finding that it stems, and I think it's from that probably that same report, Ian, from them not having the contact like we used to have. You know, going out
Right.
and your parents kicking you out, go play. You know, don't come home before the street lights come on, or until the street lights come on, or whatever. And honestly, it's hard for me to kick my kids out and go play with friends because I don't have any neighbors. So, but
Do you
we
remember the
try to keep our
commercials?
kids active, and yeah, yeah, it's 10 o'clock.
It's
Your
10
where
o'clock.
are
Do
your
you know where your
children at?
children are?
Right. They had to remind your parents that they had children. You know, so
I'm still feral.
yeah, yeah, me too. I'm so feral. I don't want any neighbors. But but yeah, that was one with Batterygate. How about this one? This one's new on me. I had not heard about this one, and this actually came out in 2016. The Sugar Research Foundation sponsored its first coronary heart disease research project in 1965, and it paid approximately $6,500, $48,900 in 2016 dollars for this research. But they paid for this research to downplay the risks of sugar, comparing it to, let me see, here we go. You know, for heart disease, and to make, paid the national health or national heart disease focus to saturated fat. Um, a lot of that we've seen, my wife and I, we've kind of done a lot with looking at carnivore or keto diet. Um, I lost like 90 pounds on keto. I put some of it back on because I've slipped off the wagon, but I'm trying. Um, but they're finding that all the saturated fats and all that, like in a carnivore diet, and I'm not a medical professional, so don't beat me up, but it's actually better for you. You know, because what is your brain made of? Your brain's made of fat and cholesterol.
Yeah.
And they're finding in studies that through a carnivore diet or a keto diet, no sugar, very little carbs, your body performs better. And I can attest to it. You feel 100% better getting away from the sugars and all that. Um, so that was a new one on me. I didn't realize that it was even a conspiracy theory, but apparently it is. Um, Sugar is extremely addictive, and I can attest to that too. I mean, I have a sweet tooth a mile long.
Yeah,
I
and don't
love
even
my
get me
sweets.
started on corn syrup.
Right, right, and that's the same thing. Um, my biggest problem trying to make that shift to a keto diet was potatoes and rice.
Oh yeah.
The whole carbs. I love potatoes and I love rice. Yep, Julie. I mean, I would agree with you. A balanced diet is good. Natural sugars, but a lot of this is processed sugar. The CNH and all that stuff. And I'm not trying to downplay anybody. I know what works for me, but and I can attest, to losing 90 pounds, or almost 90 pounds or whatever. But I didn't realize this was a sugar industry was manipulating science. And I'm sure that there are other industries. The tobacco industry was one of them. Was paying,
Yep.
to say, tobacco doesn't cause cancer and all this stuff.
I mean, it's healthy for you.
What's another one I've heard of? Right, right. It wasn't the 60s and 70s. Everybody smoked. 50s, everybody smoked. Then they come out and say, well, this causes cancer, heart disease, all that stuff. Trying to think of another one. Right, I know Enzo. Enzo said he can't believe how long it took him to invert the food pyramid. This one.
Well, yeah,
even touched on.
Even I, as a kid, the food pyramid that they used to have is the same one you used to fatten up hogs for butcher.
Right, right, and that's true. We're feeding some out right now. We're feeding some hogs out right now. I've got 9 that's probably going to go to the butcher here in about a month, and we're feeding them a fattening diet, to fatten them up. And it's mainly corn.
Yeah.
Was it? Ian?
Wasn't there a big deal where the corn industry paid off the American Journal of Medicine to say that corn syrup was healthy?
I think so.
It was something like that. One of those big corporations back before the AMA was what it is today. They took money and would print whatever you pretty much wanted. Allegedly.
Right. And I want to say, was it Monsanto with Roundup? I think Roundup was another one. They're saying glyphosates won't hurt you and this and that, and they're coming to find out that it's not real, or that's not true either. Julie, I mean, from what I've looked at on the keto diet, that's not the case. I mean, I can't say I disagree with you, but just saying from what I've seen, that's not the case. I've seen some studies that talk about, plaque buildup and stuff in your arteries and whatnot, and they're actually clear. I mean, you can look it up and find both sides of the argument. So I can't say I agree with you. I can't say I disagree with you on that. But yeah, I want to say that Monsanto. It's not even Monsanto now, though, is it? I think they went under, or somebody else bought Roundup.
Yeah, I'm not sure who owns them now.
Yeah, I do too as well, Enzo. If you're listening, Julie put keto can actually cause heart disease because of cholesterol. It can cause kidney stones. And then Enzo put on there, I did keto years ago and have a history of kidney stones. I didn't have any issues, but I do drink a lot of water. I do as well. And that is one recommendation that they do give you. If you're going to go on keto, pound water. That helps flush. Anyway, moving on. We just kind of touched on this one, but this was 2018, Facebook data harvesting. I'm not really going to spend a lot of time on here, but there is a snippet. It was in The Guardian by Christopher Wiley. So we spent $1 million harvesting millions of Facebook profiles. Cambridge Analytica had 50 million Facebook profiles to target American voters. We all lived through this.
Yeah.
During the previous presidential election in 20. We know. And I'm the same, Julie. I'm the same. She put she'd have done some looking into it. She's not an expert. I'm not either. I know what works for me, and I know I didn't have any issues. That's all I can say. And then Ian said, "You mean rum, Enzo?"
So just to be clear, Enzo is the bourbon guy. I'm the rum guy. So just so you don't get us confused, Ian.
Right. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the Facebook data harvesting, but it was proven true. The conspiracy theory that Facebook was harvesting, trying to sway the election in 2020. that was proven true. Here's one, and it may actually get us banned. They are, Enzo. And Wenzo said whiskey and vodka are allowed on keto, though. They are because they're low carb.
Damn
Beer,
it.
not so much. But here's one that may get us banned. I don't know. The COVID-19 lab leak hypothesis. Said, I'm just reading a couple snippets here. In this article, man, I'm having trouble remember how to share it. I got so many windows open. I think that's what's confusing me.
I run into that sometimes. I'll have 50 windows open.
Yeah.
Then wonder why my computer doesn't run right.
Yeah, and in this, right, this article is January 27th of this year. CIA now says COVID most likely originated from a lab leak, but now has low confidence in its assessment. This is from CBS. So I've believed it for a long time. I mean, the initial story for COVID just didn't smell right. You know, bat soup and all this stuff. Right, which is also keto too. So, but yeah, I mean, the whole bat soup thing didn't smell right.
Have you smelled bat soup? It doesn't smell right.
I believe it was right. Personally, and this is my personal opinion, I believe it was a biological attack. Whether it was a test, whether it was accidental, but it was obviously a biological attack because of the millions of people that died from it. My brother was one. Then they push a vaccine. They downplayed, oh, dang it, ivermectin. Because if there's a proven treatment,
then you don't need the vaccine.
Right, you don't need a vaccine, and they push the vaccine. There are studies coming out about the vaccine of it causing heart issues and other health issues. I don't know 100%, so I'm going to put that disclaimer out there. But if you take in my opinion, if you take a vaccine and fast track it without being tested in the proper channels, you're opening yourself up. One thing I do like, I think I've seen Senator Rand Paul come out and is trying to get a bill passed to where it takes away their immunity, the pharmaceutical companies' immunity to vaccines, to where they can't be sued. And I hope that happens.
Yeah, they're forcing you to take something that is untested, but you can't sue if it, messes you up.
Right. You can't make them liable. So definitely, I mean, I believe this has been true for a long time, since the beginning. Let's see, I'm gonna bring up the DNI report, and I'm sure there's potential leaks, and it's not going to load. We have these windows open and we're streaming. Maybe I need to put this in. This is redacted. In March, the IC updated its analysts on the core intelligence questions related to the COVID-19 origins to include whether the first human infection of the SARS-CoV-2, and I'll share this. Let's see. Redacted. The National Intelligence Council for the other 4 IC agencies assessed that the initial human infection of SARS-CoV-2 was most likely caused by a natural exposure to an infected animal and carried SARS-CoV-2 or a close progenitor, a virus that probably would be more than 90% similar to SARS-CoV-2. The Department of Energy and the FBI assessed that a laboratory-associated incident was the most likely cause of the first human infection with SARS-CoV-2. although for different reasons. The CIA and other agencies remain unable to determine the precise origin of the COVID 19 pandemic, as both hypotheses rely on significant assumptions or face challenges with conflicted reporting. Almost all IC agencies assess that SARS CoV 2 was not genetically engineered. Most agencies assess that COVID was, I'm stopping the SARS CoV 2, we all know what that is, was not laboratory adapted. Some are unable to make that determination. All IC agencies assess that COVID was not developed as a biological weapon, which I already told you my belief on it. The WIV, whatever that is a civilian research institute founded in the 1950s by the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Although the WIV is independent of the People's Liberation Army, the IC assesses that the WIV personnel have worked with scientists associated with the PLA on public health related research. I'm not going to read all this, but I think the more and more information that's coming out, the more we're seeing. Yeah, Jill, you're right. Pharmaceutical companies, all they care about is money. Yep, that's it, and that's why that the vaccine schedule came out with all these different vaccines for kids. I mean, it's free money.
Oh yeah.
Get the government to do that. I mean, why? The big one for me is the hepatitis shot. Why, or the hepatitis B shot, which is only transmitted through sexually transmitted diseases and things like that. Why would you give an infant a shot for a sexually transmitted disease? Makes no sense. Except for money.
I mean, I had to take those shots, but that was because I was working in the medical industry and worked with patients who, were carriers, and I worked with respiratory equipment that would have bodily fluids and stuff on them.
Right.
That's totally different.
But as an adult, your system, I think, can handle that better than an infant.
Right. And that was an occupational hazard. So, I mean, that's totally different. I don't know. I'm not seeing where that's probably a good thing for the kids to take.
No, I don't either. It just doesn't make sense to me why an infant or a 2 or 3 year old or whatever, whenever it's supposed to hit on the schedule, why they would need that shot. It just, they're filling our kids up with junk. And I'm sure there's somebody that can make an argument, but I just don't see it. I don't see the reasoning behind it. Polio, okay, which really isn't a vaccine anymore. What is it? Measles, mumps, rubella. Okay, fair enough. Let's make sure it's safe. Not load up the kids. I don't remember how many is supposedly on the old schedule or whatever, because I'm pretty sure it just changed here recently, or they changed the schedule recently. But make sure they're safe. Make sure there's nothing in it that. Yeah, hepatitis can be transmitted through water contaminated with a disease. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, but isn't it the hepatitis B is only transmissible?
No, bodily fluids of any kind.
Bodily fluids.
It can be bloodborne, mucus-borne. It's actually fairly transmittable if you're exposed to those bodily fluids.
Right.
Which, as a healthcare worker, I mean, usually you are.
Right. Even in the military, I mean, we had to have a whole battery of shots, and that was in there, and whatever. But again, my argument for that is an adult, fair enough. I think your body and your system can handle that, but from newborn 2, 3, 4 years old, I don't see the need for it, just for the simple fact that can their body handle that much?
I guess if they're in LA with all the dirty needles on the ground.
I
I
guess,
mean,
yeah.
that would make sense.
I mean, I'm not a medical professional. I mean, I work on airplanes. Hell, I don't even look at, or work on airplanes anymore. I look at airplanes. So I just, I mean, I'm just sharing my thoughts. I have no basis other than my own opinion. I haven't really read a lot on it. I don't know a lot about it, but I,
Uh, yeah, I am of the opinion that immunizations are a good thing overall. Some of them I do question, like why are we doing this? Um, but
right,
we
and
basically destroyed polio.
hmm
You know, you hardly ever hear of a case of polio anymore.
and I'm good with the yeah. You don't, and I'm good with vaccines. I think they are an amazing medical invention. I mean, if you look at the Revolutionary War when smallpox was
Yeah,
huge, that's when they started the kind of whole idea about vaccines and whatnot. But
yeah, and they don't. I
I
don't. Do
guess
they
my
still give
biggest
that one?
I don't I don't think they do give smallpox anymore. That's the one with at least a big
Yeah, I've
scar
got a
on your
big
arm,
old
isn't it?
scar from it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I never got it. But I guess my biggest hangup is why so many vaccines for infants or toddlers. Because you're overwhelming their immune system. I mean, my kids, they did go through the battery shot. We spaced it out. They give newborn because it can be transmitted from the mother to child. And that makes sense. Okay, that's
I'll
fair
buy
enough.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll buy that as well. But isn't there a way they? I mean, obviously they can test the mother for that.
Well, if
And
they give permission.
right, yeah, fair. Um, I mean, but they can test that. Granted, given permission. But if they're given permission to test, see, I thought the MMR was just a shot, not the big scar on the arm. Because I've had the MMR shot, and I don't have a big scar on my arm. I've had a bunch of damn shots. Trust me. Um, you can't. I didn't know that, Julie. I thought you could test for hepatitis. Again, it shows you my ignorance. I'm ignorant when I come to this. Um, but I don't know. I mean, I think I mean that's a good argument. I'll give you that. They do because it can be transmitted from mother to child. Understandable. Um, but I don't know. I'm trying to find a justification to give the kids. I don't remember how many. I think it's in the teens or 20s. You know, shots all at once. I mean, we had our doctor space our kids out. We did give their vaccinations, but we had them space it out, not all at once. And my kids
Yeah.
are fine. All that, and this may be controversial or whatever, but um, I think I personally think there's a link between vaccines and autism. I don't have any evidence to prove it, just stories that I've read and heard. My wife has shown me and all that. Again, I can't prove it. That's my opinion. Uh,
I think autism has always been a lot bigger than they always thought it was. They're just paying more attention now.
and it could be, very well
I
could
mean,
be.
I knew some people in high school. I'm pretty sure would have been diagnosed as being on the spectrum.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Here's the big one. Here's the big one that
Is
is hot and
ongoing.
heavy in the media right now. It's the Jeffrey Epstein elite network and cover-ups. I don't know. I mean, I think we can prove that it's true. I think we can prove that it happened. Um, Pregnant
I
mothers
don't.
routinely tested. Hepatitis B. Remember getting tested with both of our. Okay. Anyway, Mark, you're going to say?
Uh, I think the problem they're having is there's not enough really e- hard evidence for a lot of these. So, and then also a lot of these are under investigation, and you can't really discuss an ongoing investigation. Is
Right.
some of what we're
And
seeing.
I would agree with that.
But I also think some of these people are just going to walk because they're too important.
Right. Right. And I think I said it last show. I mean, if they say that if you arrest all these people, the system will collapse. Well, collapse it.
Probably
Let's
needs
start
to
over.
collapse.
Yeah. Um, I don't know that I really need to go into a lot of detail with this because I mean it's everywhere right now. Like I said early on, I think these UFO file release is a distraction. I am kind of interested to see what comes out of it. Again, when they released it last year before, whatever, there wasn't a lot that came out with it. So I'm not 100% convinced that we're going to get anything out of that either, which I think would be awesome if we got some awesome information.
Oh yeah.
But with the Jeffrey Epstein case, and I think you're right, Mark. From what I've seen, it's all allegation.
Yes. And they're using as a political bludgeon against each
Mm-hmm.
other. Both sides are, and I don't care what side they're on. If they were involved in this, then they don't need to be in office, and they
Mm-hmm.
need to be in jail.
Yep. I mean, especially if they're truly involved with this, I don't care what side. Why would I want somebody like that making laws that are it's going to affect myself and my family?
Right. I mean, it's morally reprehensible,
Yeah, it is
honestly.
absolutely.
So,
But
uh,
going back a little bit, says Julie. Julie said not all pregnant women get tested for it. There are many women who don't even get care while pregnant. I was only an RN for decades. No, I mean I'll take you as a resident expert on it by all means. Like I said, Chris said that pregnant mothers are routinely tested for hepatitis B, tested with both of your guys.
yeah, we did
Yeah,
have
and Julie,
insurance.
I
Though,
can
so.
see that. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Um, yeah, like I said, I just my hang up with vaccines is not I'm not anti-vaccine, but it does concern me that infants and toddlers are getting just so much stuck into them. Um, I don't. I can't say I have any trust for what is it, the Department of Health or what is the big. I'm drawing a blank. The HHS, Health and Human
Yeah,
Services or whatever. I have no trust in the government at all, even under this administration, whom I support. I'll be honest about that. Um, I don't have any faith or trust, really, at all. I mean, so because they've been caught in so many different lies.
yeah, and going back decades.
Yeah.
Well, and that just I'm just going to put out some. You shouldn't do generalizations, but in general, I believe there is going to be uh, there's going to be bad actors any place where you have power.
Hmm.
I mean, a lot of bad people are attracted to powerful positions, and so they end up pursuing these powerful positions, and many of them obtain them. So,
Yep. I'm right there with you, Julie. She said she lost faith in most healthcare systems, insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, it's all about the dollar. That's what they've become. They're supposed to. What is the Hippocratic oath? Is that
yeah,
what I'm thinking? The do no harm.
first do no harm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how many live by that oath? And in reality, and I'm not trying to beat up on anybody or any profession, whatever. But how many doctors truly know how to doctor? Without going to a book or and fair enough
That's what they're
that
for.
they need. I mean, experience is a great feature. In all honesty, I've been in aviation for gosh, no, in what almost 30 years. Um, I mean, I still use books. I look at books and all that. Fair enough. I'll give you that. But yeah, that's kind of where my thought process is going, Julie. She says the people who actually care for the patients have no power, and I 100% agree with that because the bureaucracy is so huge that it's taken away and instilling fear in the people who care.
Right. And see, and that is
Oh, I lost you, Mark. I don't know if they can hear you or if it's just on my end. Can you guys? Oh, his mic unplugged. Okay. Hold on. We got to get a video of Mark. We're back now. I can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're echoey, but yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my soundboard came unplugged, so now I'm off the camera mic.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can hear you. Enzo, can you hear him? Can you guys hear him in the chat?
So
Yeah, I can hear you, but like I said, you're echoey. You can tell you're on your camera mic.
yeah, sorry about that.
That's all
My big fat feet got tangled in the cords again.
right. Yeah, they're saying in the chat they can hear you now too.
All right.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah,
Um,
and that was my point. That's the problem we're having worldwide with a lot of medical. Now, we are fortunate that we are in the United States. As bad as it may seem, we still have some control over our healthcare. Uh, Canada is god awful. They
yes,
have regulated it to the point. I have personally spoken with a number of people who live in Canada who will drive 4 or 5 hours to come to the doctor in the United States, and they still get back home before they would have got out of the ER there in Canada. So,
yep. Speaking of Canada, have you been paying attention to what's going on up there with the medically assisted suicide?
yeah,
It's scary, man. And there's something like 19 states here in the United States that are pushing that direction. If you're not aware, I've kind of been following it, not real in depth, because honestly, medicine isn't my cup of tea. But I find it intriguing because of the Hippocratic Oath. That's kind of where I was leading earlier, and I got sidetracked. That's on me. But it was initially passed to. Are you getting the echo on your end, Mark? My
No,
voice. Okay,
no,
it
I'm
should
not.
be coming through mine. We must be hitting something tight tonight because we're getting all sorts of interruptions and stuff. But
Well, mine was Bigfoot syndrome.
but anyway, in Canada, they passed it. Man, I can't even talk tonight. But they passed into law that that people, I think 65 and above, who are ill or terminal with certain diseases, can opt for medically assisted suicide. That was the intent behind the bill, and I believe Mark's kicking his legs like he's in a high chair. um, but I believe that was the intent behind the passing this bill. Personally, I have an issue with that as well. But now they have pushed it all the way down to like teenagers who are depressed, who are or have no way out or whatever they think. And suicide is a very touchy subject for me anyway. But they it's all the way, like I said, it's all the way down to like teenagers and stuff. And the government is letting it happen. Is letting the doctors assist these kids in committing suicide because they're depressed, and a lot of it stems from the socialized medicine.
Well, yeah, because it's cheaper.
Right. They don't have to take care of these people.
Yeah, that's
So
how they're
anybody,
saving money, so they can keep doing it.
yeah, and anybody that says that the Canadian medical system is better than the United States medical system, no, and just by looking at that, it's not, because they do no harm.
Well, and like I said, I know several people who have told me they will drive 4, 5, or 6 hours to get to an American doctor and still get home before they would have got out of the ER and got better care.
Yeah. And I think what really, I mean, I'd heard it. There absolutely does, Julie. She said there needs to be stricter laws on it. And I think what put it on my radar, I kind of listened to it and paid a little bit of attention to it. But what really put it on my radar towards the end of last year, I heard of this lady in Canada who had some kind of thyroid disease. She was in constant pain. Had several surgeries, but wasn't able to get a specialist, a thyroid specialist. She wouldn't be able to get into it because she didn't live in the same province or something like that. I don't quote me 100% on it, but the story. And she was scheduled for assisted suicide because that was the easy way out. And it wasn't really her decision, but she was tired of living with the pain. And she couldn't get into a thyroid specialist. So the host for the show I was listening to said, "Okay, here's what we're going to do," and you would know his name. He put a call out. He has millions of listeners. He said, "I want to help this lady. I want to help this lady survive because she doesn't want to die."
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. But she said, "I don't want to die, but this is the only option I have." And he said, "Okay, we'll put a call out here in the United States. If we can get you down here for treatment at a specialist, will you not commit suicide?" And I think he was talking to her husband or something like that. And he's like, "Yeah, that's what we want as a specialist, to get out of this pain." And it was kind of a routine procedure. And thank God, they found as a specialist, I think in Florida at one of the top thyroid hospitals in the nation, say, yeah, I'll do it. I'll absolutely do it. And so the lady is still alive because they're trying to work out the ins and outs of it, but she has hope now, where before she was hopeless. And Chris, I truly sympathize with you. She said having lost her brother to suicide is very hard to say okay for assisted suicide for depression at any age. Help these people with mental health. Yes, absolutely. I mean, my son that's in college has been affected tremendously. He's had like 3 or 4 friends commit suicide, and he's only 21. And I don't see that as an option at all. I mean, it's so terrible. It's such a bad thing. Anyway, we've hit Jeffrey Epstein. The last one, then we'll close out the show, is something we're aware of as well, is the Twitter files, the government tech censorship.
Yeah.
And that's come true. That is a true conspiracy theory. But it was before.
Oh yeah, I mean, we saw it on YouTube.
Yep.
If we would have talked about COVID during COVID, we would have been banned.
Oh yeah, we got hit one time, didn't we? On that one, I think that's the only hit we've had.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it was just a slap on the wrist. I don't even think they took it down. They just put a warning on our.
Yeah, as when it was all going on, we said the word and we got a slap on the wrist. But yeah, the Twitter files, the FBI partner meetings pre-flagged and suppression request, including Hunter Biden laptop story, which is another one that is on the edge right now. And Twitter kept the entire database of requests to censor posts. And that was before it became X, and that's how they found out about the Twitter files. Was Elon Musk released all the files saying, yeah, this is what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep, he bought it and then he released all that info.
Yep. And I'm sure you guys are aware of most of it, so I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on it. But yeah, there's documents for hearings. I'm not going to say Wikipedia, because that's like crappy research. Trust me, I know.
I've used Wikipedia a few times and was sorry.
Yeah. So in the last couple of minutes, I want to ask you guys in the chat, is there something we didn't cover, whether it be your theory? I shared a little bit of mine. If you have a theory, or if you know of one that's been proven true, and there's a couple I didn't choose, but let's see. I know, let me scroll up here. I got to get through a lot of this stuff here. Yeah, the Hunter Biden laptop. And there was one, for the hashtag free Britney abusive conservatorship thing.
Yeah.
Which I didn't care about that. I'm not a big, I could care less. It was sad that she went through that, but she was off her rocker as well. So, I mean, not meaning to sound insensitive, but I just didn't think that was really relevant. So anyway, in the chat, while we have a few more minutes, throw in the chat your conspiracy theories that you think are true or have already come true that you know of. I'd be interested to see it. We'll start closing out while we're doing that. Next time on the What If Tomorrow podcast, we are fielding your questions, your preparedness questions. If there's something you don't know about, there's something you want to know, or even just comment something that maybe is new to you, you may think would be valuable for us. I mean, because ultimately, like I said many times, this is your show. You guys are here hanging out in the chat. We definitely appreciate it. But we want to learn from you as well. I mean, because it keeps us, it makes us stronger. You know, that the whole community idea.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because we all have something different that we do, something that we different that we try, especially if you're into the preparedness field or in that space. You have different ideas. I mean, I know, and I haven't put out a video in a while on the. I just drew a blank.
9 acres.
No, on the Condition Ready channel, guys are saying, "Hey, put Imodium AD in your backpack or in your bag." You know, I was like, I never thought about it. That is a great idea. You know, I mean, it doesn't take up any space.
Pepto Bismol tablet.
Yeah, you know, things like that. If you have comments, questions, whatever, by all means, come to the next show. We'll chat it out. Jump in the chat. We
Send
love
us a
having you guys
message.
in the chat. What's that?
Send us a message.
Yeah, send us a message if you can't make the chat, whether it be on Facebook, email, what have you. Man, my eyes are like going nuts right now. But anyway, yeah. With that being said, I don't have a whole lot more, Mark. I don't. Do you have anything you want to add? What are you guys talking? Do you guys know what you're talking about next Monday on the Fringe?
Next Monday, we are going to have part 2 of out of place structures. So we were talking about that, and there was just so many of them we couldn't get to them. So we're gonna keep going.
Cool. Then my thoughts, and I really haven't chatted with you much about it, Mark, but we have an email in our email from somebody looking to come on and talk about AI. He is an AI professional. So I'm thinking about reaching out and saying, yeah, shoot, let's come on. So I'm going to try to get him on the show.
That sounds great.
Next. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
That sounds great.
But yeah, looking into that, throwing some other ideas around for later on down the road. Maybe trying to get a couple more guests on. But yeah, you guys come check out On the Fringe next Monday. Then we have Bordertown Strange this Wednesday, if I'm correct, right, Mark?
Yep. And we're going to be talking about Rendlesham.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I'm also curious to know to see what comes out of this UFO report. I heard an interview with Lou Elizondo today. Again, Lou Elizondo, it's kind of one of those controversial, but can you trust him? Can you not? I mean, I've heard him. He's been on with Ben and Joe on UFO Garage, and they actually have a new episode out I haven't listened to. They don't get together as much as they used to, which I still love their show. Good guys. Maybe we get some stuff come out. Maybe we can try to get them on. I'm sure Ben or Joe will jump on, at least one of them. But because they're kind of the resident, you know, besides Enzo. Enzo's our resident expert on UFOs. But anyway, guys, I don't have anything left. Mark, if you got something?
I'm good.
All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you all hanging out in the chat. It's been a lot of fun. We love having you there. Thanks for listening to us. For everybody not in the chat, feel free to jump in and join us. I think we're having problems with X tonight. I did get a notification on that.
That's been going on for a week or two.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually we have a few listeners on X, but we don't have anybody tonight. So I'll have to double check it, see what's going on with it. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Good night, folks.